My goodness, I look like I'm sitting in a dark hovel today, but never mind, we're going to push on. If you've ever wondered where you can find the time to both write books and do the extensive marketing required to actually sell your book, then this video might help. A little disclaimer here. I work as a full-time author. I have been doing this for 12 years. And over time, it's very easy to put systems in place and processes in place, plus which I have an entire day to do what I need to do. I don't have children at home. I no longer have a husband. I don't have an outside job. And I don't have any of the many other commitments that so many people who are struggling to find their feet in an author career might have. So please just take these points as they might relate to you, because there are some instances where they might not. And maybe the things I do in a day might be the things that you do in a week. So just please keep that in mind, because I'm simply sharing my experiences in the hopes that it'll help you. The key words, the three key things that I want to try and emphasize through this video is that I use lists. Mine's down in front of me here. I use batching for a lot of my content, and I also have become extremely focused when it comes to social media. So let me try and explain. A typical day for me will start anywhere between 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning. I absolutely object to having my alarm go off. And the only day I do that is on a Tuesday if I'm having my grandperson come to visit, or on a Wednesday when I need to make sure my rubbish bins are out by 7 o'clock in the morning. However, I can get past that on some days because I can put it out the night before. Totally irrelevant, but these little things matter. If I get up under my own steam and I come out here and I make a cuppa and I'm all dressed and washed and everything else, and the first thing I do is sit down in front of my computer and I check my emails. Now, I know for most people, they're on social media, but I don't need to do that yet. I need to go onto my emails because I live in New Zealand. And a lot of the narrators, the translators, the authors that I collab with, and things like that, they're all on the other side of the world. So there's a good chance that while I've been sleeping, they've been sending messages about things they want me to deal with. So first thing I do, check my emails. Are there any dumpster fires I need to put out? Are there any things that I need to make commentary on or give an opinion on or whatever else? For example, just yesterday in my emails, I had an email from my narrator with a list of words from my next book asking me how I'm pronouncing them because they want to get the pronunciation right. So before I'd even had breakfast, I was making a small video just reading out the words so that my narrator can pick up on how I say them. Then I simply upload that to YouTube. It's only a couple of minutes long. I put it as unlisted and then send that link to my narrator. So I did that. Then I had an email from one of my collab authors, JP Sale. She had just finished off the book that we were writing together, and she was in the middle of packing for a holiday and asked if I could write the blurb for it and make sure the book gets to our editor. So I took care of that as well. Remember, this is all before breakfast, but this is what I mean. I go through and I pick out the things that are urgent or need my immediate attention, and I want to send a response before those people go to sleep because I'm down here on this side of the world. And so that's what I do. Once I've had breakfast and what have you, I'll go onto YouTube. That's when I'll check my comments to see all these lovely people who comment on my videos, which I so truly appreciate. And this is actually the reason why I'm making this video, because I had gotten a comment on one of my previous videos talking about marketing for free and things like that and why you needed social media. And they said, well, you know, you do all these things, How do you find the time to write? So this video is in response to that. Thank you so much, because it was a really good thing to try and explain. So after breakfast, I check through all my accounts. I check my sales stats for the day. I check every one of my platforms every day to make sure that, there's nothing amiss, nothing's going wrong. I check that, how my sales figures are going on Amazon and this sort of thing. So I do all that. And then I take care of any other bits and pieces. Like this morning, what did I have to do this morning? Well, I had to do that blurb for the book. I had to send the book to the editor. I hadn't done a Quirk of Fate's short series. I had the books up on Amazon, but I just hadn't added them to a series. And some of my readers were getting a bit confused, because I have a Quirk of Fates series, and I also have a Quirk of Fates shorts series, where the books are shorter. But I hadn't put them in an actual dedicated series. So I went on to Amazon this morning and did that and got that cleared up and taken care of. I hadn't done a couple of TikToks for social media for next week, to schedule for next week. So I did those as well. And now I'm down to doing videos for my channel. Ta-da, here I am. This is what I'm doing. And you'll notice in all of this, I'm not spending any time on social media, and I'm not doing any writing at the moment either. But that's all right. That'll come later. And this is another little key point I want to put in here, that for me, I find I write better in the afternoon. So I won't get to the writing side of my day until after lunch. Or what normally happens is, just before I have lunch, I will read through what I'd written the day before. And then I pick up my handy dandy little dictator and I go and sequester myself in my bedroom. And I don't know why I do that. It's just I do. And I will sit there and face the wall, and I will talk between 10 and 20 minutes and map out a scene, the next scene for my book. And then I can come back in here. I can plug this in. It's really cool, because can't find it. But it has a USB dongle on the bottom of it. So it just clicks straight into my computer, and I can pop that into the transcription program and let that be doing while I'm organizing lunch. So by the time I finished lunch, where I'm usually watching some of my favorite YouTubers, then I will knuckle down and copy and paste those words from the transcript into a fresh document, and then start editing and tweaking it. And I've usually got a YouTube video playing in the background or what have you as well. I like to listen to commentary videos, and I like to listen to videos that are more podcasty than me having to actually watch them. So I can have them on in the background and they're sort of going in here, but my main focus is on the writing. Now, I have found through using this dictaphone thingy that if I talk for 10 minutes, I have about just over 1,000 words. So if I talk for 20 minutes, I have almost 2,000 words. And then I find also when I'm editing, because of course it's not really easy, like talk your story and writing your story is actually two different ways of using your brain. So I find I miss things out when I'm dictating, which is fine, because all I'm really aiming to do with this, I'm not aiming for this to be word for word perfect. I'm basically mapping out the scene, the pacing in a scene, and what's going to happen in that scene. And then I go through and edit it. Then I go in and add the bits that I missed. Then I go in and add the context I've forgotten and things like that. And I find that is a really quick way to get words done. So that's my first part of the writing for the day. And I usually try and get that done before I have an afternoon tea. I have certain medication requirements that require I eat at 4 o'clock, because you can't take the pills without food. So darn annoying. But anyway, so I'll do that. And then I will pick up my second work in progress, read through that, do another dictation thingy, and work on those words through till dinner. And sometimes, if I'm really inspired, I'll do another session again after dinner till about 10 o'clock at night. But sometimes I don't have to. But by doing this, even if I do those 2 sessions a day, I am usually writing on average between 3 and 5 to 6,000 words a day. And that's every day. Well, it's in my head, it's every day, but technically it's actually most days. For example, yesterday, I had my daughter turned up for a visit. She bought a puppy, guys. How was I meant to write or focus on anything when she'd bought a puppy? You know? So I had a really glorious day, and the thought of writing was just, no, you can't do that. Not when you're confronted with puppy cuteness. So anyway, and my system, the way I do things, means that when I take a day off like that, whether it was intentional or not, I don't have to worry about it. All that work will still be here today, and I will do it this afternoon. It's just the way it is. That's actually why I'm recording a little earlier today, and the sun is not quite reached high enough. Our winter sun has not quite reached high enough. So it's why it's making me look like I'm in a cave, but never mind. I'm sure you don't come on here for my good looks. That would be hilarious. Anyway, so that's what I do. That's where I get my writing done. And the canny ones amongst you will be going, yeah, but you haven't done any promotion. You haven't even been on social media. You've missed stuff out. What are you missing? No, I'm not missing anything. I'm already on social media. I've already done that. You see, what I do on a Friday, and this is where the batch aspect comes in. On a Friday, I rarely write. On Fridays, I do my posts I do like 6 posts that are going to go on my Facebook, for example. And I'll include pictures and links and whatever else. And they are just in a text file. And then I also, so I upload that and the relevant photos and media that goes with it up to a Dropbox folder that I share with Holly, who is my PA. And she will take care of scheduling them through the week, the following week, with all my promotions. On Fridays, I also I take that same content and then I reuse it. I go into a website called a Buffer, where I can schedule my next week's posts for Blue Sky, TikTok, and Threads. Now, I'm not widely known on any of those platforms, but you only need one person to see your post. So I schedule all that for the week, and I have done that. Then I go through and I go onto my Patreon, because I have a Patreon as well for my readers. And I will go through and I will schedule the following week's posts for the week, all done on that afternoon. Takes me about an hour. I do a little video like this because I love talking to my readers. And I, they get to see early chapters and things like that. And that all gets uploaded to Patreon. So on that Friday, I have done all of my promotion, all of my posts for Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and TikTok, and Patreon, all on one day, a week's worth of things. Then I usually do my 2 videos for my YouTube channel, because I am really keen on trying to make this grow and hopefully help this grow. So I do that as well. And then by the time it gets to dinner on a Friday night, I'm like, oh, okay. But I know at the very least, I have done an entire week worth of content in the space of a day. And realistically, it doesn't take me all day to be honest, these videos are the longest part of that day. But if I get them done on a Friday, then I don't have to do them on the weekends. And on the weekends, actually the weekends I can spend all day just writing, because I can, because all that preparation work has already been done. And this is where I think that some people fall down, or why some people think that marketing on social media is actually an issue. You notice I didn't spend any time on social media. I sent my stuff off to my daughter, and then I used Buffer to do programming. I didn't go on social media at all. And there's a reason for that. It's the biggest time sucker there is. And I had to become, I didn't realize it. You know, back in the early days when TikTok first started, for example, and, you know, my kids and my grandkids, oh, you know, you should look at TikTok, Grandma, you should look at TikTok. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll go and have a look. And I think one of my readers sent me a link to a TikTok or something they wanted me to see. So I clicked on it. And then I started scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And I wasn't really seeing anything that was interesting, but for some reason, there was something in the back of my brain going, just one more, just one more, just one more, because they're all short snippets of content. So you're more inclined to do that. I wasted 2 hours of my day watching mindless rubbish. So I don't have, on my little handy phone here, I don't have any apps, any social media apps on my phone at all. I just won't. To me, they are a time waster. I have a career. My writing is important to me. It's my passion. It's what I do. It's the reason I get out of bed in the morning. I do not need to be wasting my day on all these endless sites, you know. And I mean, Facebook is the same. I will go on to Facebook. What I try and do is sometimes around lunchtime, because the only thing I do get on my phone is I will get notifications. Oh, that wasn't good. What did I do? I get notifications. Like I can see that there are 2 people that I know who have shared reels with me in Messenger. Now, when I look at that and I see it first thing in the morning, I haven't gone and checked them yet, because they're not important. They're just something lighthearted and fun that, you know, either my author friends or my reader friends have thought, oh, Lisa might like to see that. So they'll share it with me. But it's not something I need to respond to immediately, so I don't. And I really do believe that for a lot of people, not just authors, if they were a bit more structured with how they use social media, then they wouldn't it wouldn't be such a time waster. I mean, I love my group, for example, on Facebook. I call it my internet happy place, because it is. And I will go on there a couple of times a week, and I'll look at comments and I'll respond to comments and I'll look at what people have posted to show me and things like that. And that's really cool. I like doing that. But even if I do that, that's it. 20 minutes, no more. I set myself a timer if I have to, and then I get off of it, because it's otherwise too much of my day can be taken up with social media. And that's like for me, social media is a necessary evil. It's a great way of staying in contact with my readers. But if I then diverted from that and just started looking at what everybody else is doing, honestly, yeah, I would waste so much time and I would never get anything done. And this is where I mean about setting yourself limits. So we have lists, we have batch content, and we have limits. And though that is the reason why I can get done the things that I get done in a day. My writing is super important to me. Making a living is also important to me. So the 2 things between marketing and writing they do need to go together. I am lucky because I am now in a position where I can afford to pay my daughter to do the bulk of my scheduling for me. And she can also go on and take care of any immediate problems. I mean, she's my daughter. She knows how I talk. She knows how I think. So she can handle the basic things. And it's very rare that she has to come back to me and sort of say, oh, hey, Mum, one of these readers has asked this and I don't know what to say. In which case I just message her back and let her know what's going on and she can take care of it. But that 10 years I did it myself. And again, I used the limit system. I used to do 2 hours of social media every morning. When I now do other bits and pieces, I was doing social media, but I would limit myself to 2 hours. That was it. And that was before I learned about, places like Buffer where I could schedule and things like that. I was manually going on every morning and putting in content and responding to notifications and answering people's comments and things like that, but only for 2 hours. And then I would turn it off. I would get out of Facebook and I would carry on with my writing in the afternoons because that's what I prefer. And this is something that you can do too. You do need to market, but you can take the time to set yourself up a system where you are scheduling things and batch making content and then scheduling that so you don't have to go into social media, any platform, because it is tempting. Your little random video thing, catches you out of the corner of your eye, or you see a picture and wonder what it is. And don't get me started about cute dogs and cats. I understand that. But your time is a really valuable resource as an author. A lot of people, I think they assume that because I'm home all day and I work as a writer, and I think they probably think I spend the afternoon sipping cocktails and watching, is Days of Our Lives on anymore? Or am I seriously dating myself there? But, I don't, I don't do that. My day is busy every single day. And there might be some of you who are sort of thinking, I don't even want to start. That all sounds so hard. But it's really not. What I would suggest is you start small. You might want to go on and check your notifications for your social media in the morning and just give yourself an hour. And then you might have to go and do a job and things like that through the day, or you've got, commitments with your children and things like that. I totally understand having a second job or, raising a family. I did that too. But now I'm just in a position where I don't have to. But maybe you allocate your writing time to the evening and you have it separate to your marketing time. And I do think, especially if you're working outside of the home through the week, that perhaps sitting down on a Sunday afternoon, for example, and just writing up a bunch of content, like we're only talking little posts here. It's not like you're writing essays. You're just writing up little posts of different things you want to share with your readers over the next week. Then if you've got that there and you've got it all ready, it makes your process of posting and promotion a lot faster. Oh, I should mention that as well. When it comes to the promotion stuff, right? Now, there is another exception where I don't write on a Friday, and that is when I have my edits come back. When my edits come back from the editor, I will sit and do them that afternoon. It typically takes me 6 to 8 hours. I hate it. I hate doing it. I get to the point by the time I have finished the edit when I am so annoyed if I have to tap that comma key one more time. I get so annoyed. In case you haven't guessed, I'm shocking with commas, but I have good editors that remind me that I'm shocking at commas. But so I get the edits done. And you might think that's the end of it, but of course it isn't. While I'm editing, I am also pulling out text teasers, because those text teasers are going to go to my promotional graphics. And then I send a combination of the model pictures that I've used for the cover I've made, and the text teaser list in a text file, and any other bits and pieces, pictures or things that could be used for promotional purposes. And I upload them to a separate folder on my Dropbox, because that's when Holly comes along, and that's my daughter, and she makes up about 10 to 12 graphics for coming soon, and then a version of them, those same graphics, with out now. Because if you remember from one of my previous marketing videos, I discussed how I market 2 weeks before while the book is on pre-order, and then 2 weeks afterwards, after the book has gone live. So we have that. And she also makes up little reels, like little short videos, slide video things for TikTok and Instagram, and I think she posts them somewhere else, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, she does that, and she batches that. She has it all done at the same time. So when it comes to, what's my book coming out this month? August. We're in August. I have Anton Victor's sequel coming out this month. So the promotion graphics, the videos, and everything else are already done. That was all done back when I edited the book. I collected those things together that Holly would need. She created the graphics and the videos for me, the little slideshows and things like that. And they're all sitting there in folders on the Dropbox, just waiting to go. And this is what I mean, that whole batching, taking that time sometimes to just spend maybe an hour or 2 hours doing these bits and pieces, and having it prepared for the following month or the following week or whatever else, actually proves to be a huge time saver. And that is how I do that. And again, back when I used to do my graphics myself, back when I used to do my promotion myself, before I was in a position where I could afford to employ my daughter, I, again, would just spend those 2 hours. I would just get it done. I think that's the secret to it. And does it mean that maybe I don't write quite so many words that day? Possibly. Depends on how I feel. But by doing that, I've taken the stress off myself for like pretty much the following month, especially when it comes to promotion. Like sitting in my Dropbox now is the promotion material needed for the entire month of August for Anton Victor's sequel, The Psychic and the Vampire, in case you're wondering. But that's what I mean. Take those times, hoard an hour or two and do it there. Get it all prepared and done and out of the way, so that by the time your book goes live, you've already got your promotional material there. You can just use it. You can then schedule it, and you're done. Making systems, making things easier on yourself, that is, I will admit, for me, it was a long time coming. And I do have the advantage in that I sit at home all day. But don't let anybody tell you I'm not busy. I might have got dissuaded by puppy cuteness yesterday, but I still, after my daughter and the puppy left, I think I finished work about 11 o'clock last night, because I did do the Patreon, the Dropbox, the buffer things. I did the bulk of those last night. And I think that's one of the fascinating things about social media, is you don't have to do it within a certain time frame. You just do it when you're able. If you happen to have to sit up one night a week or something for an extra hour, so you could get your promo posts all ready for the following week and things like that, it's honestly worth it. Making those times and doing those things, it's genuinely worth it. So hopefully I've answered the question. Well, the basic thing is when it comes to writing, I usually write roughly between about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then again from 4:30 till about 6:30. And occasionally, especially if I'm on a roll, almost at the end of a book, or I just have got a scene that won't leave me alone, and I know if I fall asleep, I'll forget it. Sometimes I'll go through till about 10 o'clock at night. But yes, I do write, and I do mark it every single day. But the secret for me is probably 4 days out of 7, I don't actually go on those social media platforms at all. I hope this was helpful. I know it's a really long video, and so I do hope that you found some useful nuggets in that. I'd be really interested in hearing your situation. And if you've got any specific questions, of course, definitely let me know below. I want to help. I want to help. And I know that sometimes people will look at me, for example, and I'll be like, well, how do you do it? As if there is like a magic recipe or anything else. But sometimes the answer is actually quite boring. It involves things like lists and batch content and being a bit disciplined about the amount of time spent on social media, because gosh, that used to be a really bad time waster for me. But I don't even know if I can lift it up. I have this huge A4 diary, one page, one day to a page, and every day is filled with lists of things I need to do. And it also reminds me of the things I've done, which is also handy. I even make a little thing at the bottom that tells me when it is I need to take my pills, and I tick them off when I take them, because then I've remembered that I've done it. But anyway, my lovely friends, please drop your comments down below. Hopefully this has helped you. And until we catch up next time, please keep writing, because you can do it. You just need to get the book finished. And then when you've got it done, yell out and I'll give you a hand with a system of your own. Till next week. Bye.